I want to thank you for taking that next step to learn more about how you could leverage our private lending business model to take your business to the next level. But I want you to understand something. I don't have a lot of time to cover all of the details of being a private lender, but what I will do is give you a summary. And what I'd like to do, if you take that next step, when you fill out your investor profile, we're going to give you a specific book that we wrote that was published that talks about how you can invest as a private lender from start to finish, which means that you can do this on your own, or ultimately, as you learn our strategy, perhaps you'll want to leverage our business model. So let me first begin by giving you a quick summary that you see on the board. Now, His Capital Group has raised over $35 million in private money to deploy and invest with other active investors in the business model. It's important to understand that we don't loan money to consumers. We never work with somebody who's going to live in the property. Our strategy is to finance other experienced and responsible real estate investors that are looking to take their business to the next level. Those are the clients that we focus on. So whenever an active investor gets involved, they usually bring us an investment opportunity. And the moment that opportunity comes to the table, we have a team that specializes in doing the due diligence process to make sure that first and foremost, that borrower has the ability to repay, that they have the experience, and that there isn't anything in the background check that we should be concerned about. Once we're comfortable with that particular client, then we begin to dig into the project to make sure that those numbers make sense. The very big and most important philosophy that we use in our office, if it is not a win-win, we don't do the deal. Which means that if we're going to loan money to an active investor, but the margins are too tight, meaning that investor may lose money, we're not going to get involved. We don't do business to own their real estate. Our goal is to invest in safe investments, empower investors to reach the next level, and collect those monthly payments. So now, if my team blesses the transaction and says that not only the client has experience, but the deal makes sense, then we proceed over to the funding phase of our business. During this stage, my team of attorneys put together loan documents that is submitted to the title company, and we make sure that the client who is borrowing from us signs every single document, which is our actual instrument of collateral that is recorded in public records. Once that takes place, then we take the funding after we wire for that transaction, and we board the loan with a third-party servicer. Now, I could service all of the loans in-house, but I somehow, for some reason, like to use other companies that specialize in a specific product that can create more transparency for us and our investors. And so what we do is we ultimately leverage this third-party company who in essence collects the monthly payments for us directly from the borrower. It's a great tool. They have great platforms that we use, and we love it because it's very turnkey. So at that stage, the servicer collects the payments and of course issues payment to His Capital Group. Now, this is where the business goes to a whole new level. While we're already doing $35 million in capital to invest, what we found is that there is a very big audience of investors in the marketplace that are looking and trying to find a way to invest passively and earn 8 to 10% returns. So what we've done is, in a small percentage of the portfolios that we're financing, what we end up doing is we work with passive investors to actually leverage the capital that we have to take our business to the next level. Here's how. Once we have a loan that we have funded and we begin to board the loan with the servicer, some investors that are passive utilize our resources to become the bank as well. And the way they do that is by buying a whole loan from us for that particular service. Once that loan is purchased, we assign the mortgage to that investor, so that investor has 100% ownership of that collateral document. That's important because in the event that, God forbid, I pass away or somebody in my company has financial issues, it doesn't matter because our investor owns 100% of that investment. And the servicer, who's a third-party company, then flows through payments for our investor automatically every single month. That's the beauty of it. Now, of course, the loans that we do are not 30-year mortgages. So we're talking typically anywhere between 12 months to up to 36 months. That's the average loan that we use. So whenever we fund an investor and the client sells a property or decides to refinance and pay us off, the capital is returned to our investors, and now our investor has the luxury of deciding what they want to do with the money. They may decide they want to move that money somewhere else, or they may actually redeploy their capital. What we've learned, and this is what's so powerful about our business, is typically investors that are passive dip their toe in the water. They try it out. And when they see that they're getting consistent returns and that their money's safe, when they get paid off, and sometimes even before, they decide to redeploy even more money. In fact, we recently did the research, and close to 80% of all of our passive investors that are buying notes from us are literally putting more money within the first 6 months because they love how the business works. Now let me show you just a visual of how this strategy works for the borrower. So obviously the borrower is looking for money to grow his business. Most of the clients that we work with do at least 4 to 5 deals a year. Some of our more experienced clients that we fund do 40, 50, 60 properties a year. So this is a specific targeted audience that we work with. Now, when a borrower wants to buy a property, he will sign a mortgage, and of course, based on that mortgage and our due diligence that I just described earlier, we originate a mortgage and we finance the client so that he can own this property. That note then is secured and protected by our third-party servicer, and as the actual borrower begins to make the payments to our servicer, well, the servicer automatically credits funds into our account. Whenever we sell a mortgage, we sell it off to the passive investor. They are now, again, 100% owners of that mortgage. And the moment that happens, we set it up with the servicer, and the split of interest, 8 to 10% is usually our average, is what's automatically deployed, and payments are paid directly to the investor. This is a fantastic vehicle. We love it. We love it so much that in 2013, it started out as a diversification strategy, meaning we wanted to just see if this was going to be a good investment as we bought actively in the marketplace. But when we realized the power of this passive machine, we literally focused on building our own mini bank, and we love it. Last year, we deployed over $22 million. This year, we will reach over $35 million is our goal. And whether you want to work actively on your own to be the bank, or whether you want to be passive, we want to give you the resources to be successful in this business, because there are some very important things you need to know about. So, what I want to challenge you to do, if you really want to take your passive investing to the next level, I want you to highly consider this strategy. And what I want you to do is take the next step. Fill out the information that we require in our actual investor platform so that we can get a gauge for where you are, what your objectives are, and so that one of our investors can contact you directly and answer any questions that you have. And as an additional thank you, I'd like to give you that book at no cost so that you can really look at from start to finish what it takes to be the bank and how to capitalize by mitigating risk. We look forward to working with you.